Hello, Microgreens Seed to harvest, growing, harvest, and eating. So we planted Tat Soi microgreens, and we are going to harvest that and work with. And I think we planted on April 19, 2026. We harvest some microgreens from there, and that is pretty much what I showed earlier. We harvest some microgreen that day, and that was the salad we made with it. And now we are going to, clean up that bed and plant the Tat Soi Knight Mustard there. So we just try to get all the things out of there, because those microgreens tend to be a little bit short. The more loose things we get out of the way, the easier it might be for us to harvest later. And we are just going to, make some line there. And I'm moving forward. I'm trying to see if I can let some of those microgreens in the ground there to feed the organism in the ground there, because I'm thinking about letting the microgreen grow a little bit taller. We will see that therefore they will grow a little bit taller away from the ground level, that things laying down on the ground won't be an issue when I'm pulling the greens out. But at this point, I'm still picking up those pieces out of there, and we can just have 3 beds there, and we have another microgreen growing nearby, and this is going to be Tat Soi Black Knight Mustard. We purchased 5 pounds last year. It was on sale, and we purchased it. And I think for when you are going to do microgreen, I don't know how sustainable it is, so because that's a lot of seed you plant and harvest in a short period of time. They don't grow to maturity, so you use a lot of seeds. So, but I found that maybe during the year, checking the websites you wanted to buy it at for sale, when they have excess of leftover seed, they are marking it down. Then you can purchase your bulk seeds for microgreen for the following year. And unless it's now onions, some seed or many seed we purchase it this year should be to use it next year. So if you are purchasing it this year, keep in mind that it could be last year's seed, I would think, because this year they may not have a seed yet to have fresh seed out. So we are measuring it, and we have 0.55 ounces there to work with, and those seeds are small, and we are going to plant them thickly. And the bed is now too big, maybe 18 inches wide or so. I don't know if it's two feet wide, but yeah. And we planted, but we still have good amount left in the bud. We can measure it again to see how much we have left there. So that means we planted about 0.20 ounces. And we can just keep that in mind. So next time we are going to plant there again, we can just measure or weigh about 0.20 ounces to plant. And I found planting in rows, they can still have good airflow even though I'm planting them thickly, and lightly I will cover them. And I found that when I plant them in rows, when they grow, they tend to push through the ground. But when I plant a whole section, like a square area, they have problem lifting the dirt above their head. Some of them will pull up, many will pull out, some of them will get crushed by the dirt. But like this, they stay, and I'm not pressing the seed down either, but I'm pressing that tall amount I have between the row. Well, I think I'm pressing gently here, but yeah. And yeah, generally I don't do much of that. I just cover it and water. And since the salad that we serve, we still have the water from rinsing, and I think this is the first rinse. So, and when you are rinsing the salad, the water needs to be like, when you first harvest, the water will look like that, but by the time you are done, you should not have dirt at the bottom of the water. That's how you know you are completely done rinsing it. So because I harvest out of here and I plant this, I'm using the water to water right away. And then I can just continue rinsing and use the water to water other things in the garden as well. So it makes it easier to rinse the greens outside to get rid of the dirt in it, and then use the water to water plants in the garden instead of dumping it in the sink inside. And sometimes when I rinse it inside, I might pour the water in a container to take it out, but it's just easier when I'm doing it outside. Outside water can be very cold. Sometimes I'll go fetch a bucket of water inside warmer to add it to the cold water and rinse. And I just water it heavily. And is a dirt from the ground, and I just use the brick around it, and I'm just planting there. So if I water too much, the water is going to go in the ground. And the dirt will be a little bit above the ground level because I move dirt from the area into the bed and then put the brick there. So, that way I won't have to water every day either once I'm done. And I have a glass cover there that I might put on top of it because you're still cold then. And I'm using that same rinsing water to just water everything. And I found that sometimes I just find it, I like it like that. Pour the water between the row is my way of watering the plant. And the water, you can see when I'm pouring it, is flowing to the other green. So that means, yeah, even if I pour it between the row, it's going to water the plant for me. I don't need to sprinkle above the plant necessarily. I can use the row between them to be where I will water. Because again, with the container that I'm using, if I pour it on top of it, I will flatten the plant. They will rise up again, but yeah, found that it's just easier for me to just water between the rows. And we can put the rest of the seed away as well, back in the bag. And just keep your seed on the dry, away from water when you can. So we planted Tat Soi Knight on April 19, 2026, 3 rows, 0.20 ounces. And at this time, I'm covering it a little bit. I think I have it lifted up on the other side. Okay, I left a little space there so that air can flow. So now you can see it germinated April 23, 2026, and on April 26, 2026, we have the 2 cotyledon leaves. They were growing, and on May 10, 2026, we are here to harvest. You see, those wood chips can be cut between the grains. At some point, the plant that was on the other side, we harvested, we planted something else there that is growing as well. So that is how I'm trying to do it. When I harvest something, I try to prep the bed and plant that same day to see at some point if I'll be able to get it to a schedule that I will be able to have microgreen on a weekly basis for salad. And when possible, to be able to get it to 2 microgreen salad a week. That way we can serve fresh raw vegetables, like for eating like salad, eat more salad during spring and summer, and then saute vegetables more in winter time. But I'm not there yet to expect a good harvest on a weekly basis, because we are harvesting those, but nearby it, I don't that one still put some growth in it as well. So it was May 10 we are doing this harvest. So we did microgreen harvest on April 26th, I believe, and May 10 was the next. So harvest is it a week apart from each other, from April 26 to May 10, or 2 weeks between. But anyway, yeah. And at this point, I'm still relying on, I think between the two, I was able to use my perennials for salad, like sorrel. I think I was able to harvest sorrel for salad between the two harvests, microgreens harvest, between April 26 and May 10, if I recall right. But yeah, and as it's getting warmer outside, they start germinating faster too, and grow faster too, or growing faster too. But like in April, it was on the cold side. Now we are in May, harvesting. But you see how many days from planting? April 19 to May 10. How many days between planting and harvesting do we have here? Almost a week away from a month, right? Or 9 days shy from a month that it took from planting to harvesting. So we can just say it took us 3 weeks. Is it? Oh, there is something to consider though. At this time, the glass door was not there. So I took it off at some point. But then the weather was still on the cold side. So I don't know if it slowed down the growth. Now that we are done harvesting it, let's measure. And we planted 0.20 ounces. And the goal is to be able to, let's see here, 0.20 ounces. The goal is to be able to harvest 3 times what we planted. So that would be 0.6 ounces, right? But we harvest, say, 4.95 ounces. 4.95 ounces divided by 0.20. So 24 times. Is that correct? So do you see there are some that came back from those area or just outgrew the others? So I'm harvesting it from there to put in my salad bed. So there is this bed here, 8 feet long, but maybe 2.5 feet wide or so. And I like to grow salad there. So the same green I'm growing there, I started indoor and I transplanted there May 8th, 2026, 2 days prior. And they are the same green that I'm growing as a Microgreen. They are Tat Soi and Tat Soi that I'm growing there, and I like to grow them to full maturity for salad. But until they get to that stage, I still have microgreens that I'm growing. The same green, but growing them and harvesting them shorter size. So you see, as we are done, we are going to prep that bed for planting. And at this time, I left some stuff on the bed. And we can make about 3. And I put that wire to cover since I took the glass door out of there. And by the way, the glass door is the shower door that we took out of the bathroom. We don't use it there anymore. And that's the way I found to repurpose it. So I'm planting another seed there. And that root that we harvested, I'm going to mulch my peppers that are transplanted as well. And we are rinsing those grains. And we can see if that is the first water, we can see how the water is. Yeah, it's not dirty, but we will clean it up until it's, or that is the last one, or somewhere getting there. So I have some asparagus that, well, I don't know how they got that tall. And when I noticed it, I wanted to harvest it. I forgot about 2 days as well. And I said it's going to work for the salad. In fact, I forgot about it until I started working on the salad. No, not the salad. I started working on the microgreen, working on it for dinner. And I remember and I said, I need to go harvest those asparagus. So last year, growth is still there. So usually I just let it rot there, but I like to cut it down to the ground level. That one didn't come out completely. But yeah, I'm going to harvest those out of there. And we can just use the part that will be easy to chew on, and the rest we can just mulch. So we are harvesting Egyptian working onion here, and now we are inside. So we have our asparagus that we chop. We bake pork roast. So I somewhat shredded, like pull it apart, but not completely the way I should have. I add my chopped onion, asparagus, and cream cheese to it, and you are going to break it together. We have shredded mozzarella cheese nearby, 8 ounces or so. And for the cream cheese, I think it's 8 ounces each, and I put 2 in it. So still mixing it, and we have our microgreens that we harvested, add it to it. And we can mix everything together, and we add the cheese to it. And that is what we made with our microgreens that we harvested this time. So it's not a salad we made with it, but and I think that could be eaten. You can spread it, you can add it to bread dough, slice a bread and add it inside like a roll, and like a sandwich, make sandwich out of it. So we have dough here that we mix together. Pretty much is flour and water. If you want the composition there is 4 cups of flour, 1 cup of water. But this, I think I'm using 12 cups of flour here, and pretty much what that times 3, like 3 times 1.5 cups of water or so. If it's too dry, you add more water, and we mix it together and pretty much made those. So pretty much I'm going to make a wrapper there that we can use for our mixture. And the kids were in the kitchen working with me as well, and that recipe can take time. So sometimes my husband helps with it, sometimes the kids helps with it, but yeah, it can cut the times by half when the whole family is involved. I don't like to make it often because it can take time. And you pretty much cut the dough into multiple balls, and then each ball I like to cut it in 4 or 8, but 4 sets. Then we can roll them into small balls. And those are a little bit on the bigger side, but I just find that because I tend to fill it with a lot of meat, in my opinion, I should add more carb to it as well. So I tend to, and that way I won't have to roll it too thin or have to pull apart. But yeah, some of them can be on the big side, some of them can be on the small side. But again, I just eyeball it. Now that you made those balls, you'll roll it. Not too much, just a little bit to make a flat disc. And then you will add oil. So I like to have a bowl there, have oil. I'm using peanut oil, have oil, and oil the top of it, and flour the top. And then you put one on top of the other, and then you oil it again. and you flour, and you put those two sets together. And then I will do that until I am done with all the dough. So here the kids are helping and we are working on it together. And it's good to pat it down like that so that you can flatten it more. And it's good to keep it moist, so I like to cover it with a towel. So at this stage we are going to roll it flat, and in the meantime we'll have a cast iron on the stove warming up, and you can pretty much roll it into a disc like a tortilla. I don't really like to make tortilla because you have to roll it one by one, and I think it takes time. And so I like to make this wrapper instead. But you can buy tortilla, flour tortilla, and use it as well. Or you can buy egg roll wrapper to use as well. But yeah, I like to make the wrapper. That's one way to save money, by making it yourself. And again, tortilla, I think it comes with some additive in it to preserve it so that it's shelf stable. But this one, when you make it, you have to cover and put in the fridge. But if you are not careful, you can dry out as well. So it's good to make it and use it the same day. So now I flatten it up somewhat not too thin, and I put it in the pan. So my middle daughter is working on it. So as is on the hot pan, the top will be cold. So she's pressing the edges against the hot pan to cook it. With the kids, usually they use 2 spoons to do it, and me, I like to use my hand. But I'm kind of surprised to see her using her hand to do it. So that's it, that even though when they are around there teasing each other, arguing, they pay attention to what is going on in the kitchen as well. Because I was very surprised to see her doing it exactly the way I do it. So she did it very well. So yeah, that is pretty much how you will be turning it so that you can cook it evenly if you can. But pressing the edges, you can, because the edge can move away from the pan, pressing it down can help you cook it. But you want to be careful so that you don't smash all the layers together. And you want to cook the bottom, to cook, not to burn. And as you flip it, so once you flip it, the bottom was now cooked enough. I didn't know they decreased it to that medium. That's what I told them, but I was more talking about 3 o'clock. So the power is now high enough. So we are going to cook a little bit some more. And by cooking it, the heat is going to dry the dough, dry a little bit more for you. So, but having multiple layers, I found 4 to work. 5 is a little bit too much. 3 is not enough. We don't want them to be too thin, So I found 4 to be a good. So when you flip it, the top here will be hard. So it's good to just let it be. As the top is cool enough, the bottom can cook as well, and the top will be easy for you to touch and turn. Otherwise, you can just use 2 spoons to work with. So she's pressing with the spoon to cook the edges while the bottom is cooking. So you want to let it so that the bottom can dry a little bit before you start turning it. So I was very surprised to see her doing that with her hand when the top will be on the warm side. But again, she started cooking at school as well. So I think that alleviates the fear of fire. I'm not entirely sure. So she's learning to cook at school, and she's learning to sew at school. So she's a week ago or so, she says she's getting used to using a sewing machine. So they have sewing machine at home, and she's afraid of it. In some way, she will use it, but she doesn't use it much. So I think practicing at school, she's getting more accustomed to dosing. But then they are working with me in the kitchen as well. So my youngest one is pulling it apart. So when it comes out, it can be hard. So it's good to let it cool a little bit. You cover it with a towel and you let it cool a few minutes, and then you can pull it apart. But again, I'm surprised to see him was able to pull it apart while it was still hard. Then he covered it with those towels to keep it on the moist side. Until we fill it up, we want to keep it moist so that it's pliable. So we work on all of them, and we have that. I don't know how many we end up making, but we should be able to make a good amount of wraps out of that. So yes, you are right, we are making a wrap. We like to call it wrap. So pretty much what I did is I washed those containers that we use, clean up that area, wipe it, and put another towel underneath the cardboard, and we can go from there. So the remaining flour that we use, that is about 2 cups of flour that we use to flour the dough and knead. So we are going to use the remaining to make the glue that we'll use to glue the wrap together close. And you just want a thick paste. In case you are wondering, I'm using all-purpose unbleached flour, like wheat flour. And the microgreen mixture is now cooked. The pork was roasted. Everything else is raw in it. Now you put a good amount at the bottom of the dough. You put the paste at the top of the dough, and you roll the side, see, in. I had to say I didn't put enough of meat in the dough, on the wrapper. I can put more than that. Then you can just roll. And because we have a lot of mixture there, we can scoop some for later use in case we don't go over everything. I don't want to have raw meat in it. Not raw meat, raw flour. Although so far the spoon is not doing much with the raw dough, but I just realized that I may not use all of it. And that ball is a big ball. Uh, the one that has the flour is two, no, is four. The one that has the flour is 4 cups. So we use about 4 cups of flour. The remaining we turn it into a mixture, and the one we are putting things in is 1.5 bigger than the one that has the dough glue, or twice that size. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a bigger size. So we have a good amount of mixture that we put there, and that sandwich, it can be used to make sandwich. And I still have some. We made these as of May 10, 2026, and I still have some in the fridge as of now that I'm doing this voiceover, May 17, 2026. And we use it for pasta, like when I cook spaghetti or macaroni, we will use it to put on top of it. So it can, because again, it's like macaroni and cheese type of thing. So when I serve, we can add it to it, and you can warm it up and add it to pasta that you serve. So here we are frying it. So what I like to do is fry about a minute or so on each side, and move it to another pan and put it in the oven and bake it at 350 for an hour. That way it can cook all the way through and be crispy, and the excess oil will drain out of it, will be in the pan. You can fry it all the way, but I like to fry and bake it. But it takes time because it's going to be in the oven for an hour. If you don't have time, you need to serve now. Maybe frying it all the way might be the way. And we did fry a batch for the kids to snack on while I continue. But yeah, that is how we make wrap. We call it wrap, and I think this one we are calling a microgreen cheesy wrap. But yeah, and I think this one so you see, we cook it all, we fry it all the way through, that the kids serve. Yes, we are putting some in the oven, and the one that they fry all the way through, they are serving themselves. So this is the one that we fry quickly, and we are putting in the oven to continue baking it there for an hour. And my oldest one is in charge of the frying. And that was the leftover. The smaller ball was the ball that has the dough mixture in it. So we have some leftover after filling the wrapper. So I put it in that one. That way we can warm it up when we are serving it. But the other one is still, we didn't have raw flour in it, so can still be eaten like that in a bread. So now those are baked for an hour. They are out, and we will be able to serve. Beside salad, microgreen salad, this is another way we use our microgreen. So our Tat Soi Knight, Black Knight Mustard, microgreen that we harvested, we make this wrap out of it. We call it wrap. How do you call this? Because the idea came from egg roll. I think it's a version of egg roll that we make at home, but I make the wrapper myself, and that is the way I made the wrapper. And usually the mixture is a cooked meat with tomato sauce base, with greens like cabbage, and then I will fill up the wrapper and do it like that. But this time I use microgreen, and we didn't cook it. The cooking happened at this stage, and I'm giving everybody a lot, pretty much serving all of it so that they can eat and put the remaining in the fridge to eat throughout the week. And yes, some of them took multiple days to go through their batches, but that way some of them won't eat more than the other. When every day somebody come and say, can I have some wrap, and eat two here, another one eat one here, but just giving everybody their portion. That way they can put it in the fridge and eat what they can eat when they are full, and put the rest in the fridge and just eat it throughout the week at their own pace. That way they don't have to eat too much because they want to eat the most or make sure they eat enough. But knowing that it is theirs to eat, they won't overeat. So, and the youngest one, I try to put a bowl for him at the same time. So I serve him a few and not put the rest in a bowl for him. That way that bowl can go in the fridge for him and he can eat from it as he chooses to. And by the way, this video is brought to you by our online store, Liberman.com. We sew to sell, and if you are looking for dish towel or cloth napkin, will you please check our online store, Liberman.com. I do have some tote bags that are listed, and I'm going to list more products there. Will you please check it out if there is something there that you plan to purchase? You can give a try to our product. So thank you so much for your support. And that is my husband. He really liked that wrap. He liked to eat it with sweet and sour. My kids like to eat it with ketchup. The girls like to have chili pepper and ketchup. So, and I like to eat it with chili pepper. So yeah, I had to say though that I didn't salt it enough. The meat was salted, and I thought it was salted enough that the salt would go through, but it was on the bland side. So I should have salted more. I didn't. You see, we have excess oil in the pan by the time we are done. That's what I like about it when I put in the oven to continue the baking there. So this is our Tat Soi Microgreen wrap, cheesy wrap that we made. Thank you so much for your time. How do you serve your microgreen? What kind of recipe do you make with it? We thank you very much for watching our videos. Thank you for your time, and we thank you very much for subscribing to our channel. I'm Afiavi, Liberman, creator of Liberman Consulting, L.L.C, YouTube channel, and NinaSoap.com, our blog. on our channel and on our blog. We share different ways to save money and different ways to make money to reach your financial independence, where you do not depend on an employer to provide for your family. And growing your own food is one way to save money. Again, it is the goal we are going toward. We are not quite there yet. It's a process. And it allows or can allow us to eat healthy. As a disclaimer, I'm not a professional gardener or a nutritionist. I just like to share what we are doing in our house, working toward our goal of reaching financial independence, and different things we are doing to get there, making money, saving money. We like to share those skills with you. If there are few tips that you can improve on to help you in your own financial success journey. So thank you so much for your time. Happy gardening.